Hello, fellow people! Today we're continuing to fill up all the empty space between Volume 1 events with character connection moments. This is what I call the burn arc. One might even call it freezer burn arc. Because it's mostly focused on Weiss and Yang, whose dynamic we haven't really seen until like Volume 5. That's not good. So grab a snack, a beverage, and we will start adding more cement to this wall of the team bond. I should really draw a construction worker son at this point. But of course, we need to talk about the speed paint first. And I chose Velvet to accompany this bit of a story because she's a part of it. Logic is logicking. As you may have already noticed, I leaned more into the bunny territory with her, not just an anime girl with bunny ear headband. Most noticeable are of course her bunny legs, where I tried my best to keep her original shoes. Her ears are now where normal ears would be. Expect that from every eared faunus. And I made her face rounder and more bunny vibe in its features. She's also a bit pudgier and shorter than the original, soft and cute. And now, with our velvet being drawn in the background, we shall start the narrative portion that most of you totally didn't skip through. After the eventful first week of school, meeting all the new teachers, getting swarmed with schoolwork, and the general fatigue of the new environment, everyone was very much ready to do nothing all weekend and just rest. Well, unless you're Yang. She's very much inclined to use this time to form more connections. Like a true extrovert, it fills you with energy, and it leads to meeting some real cool people who are genuinely fun to hang out with. Like Coco and her team, even though they're a lot more reserved. But most importantly, all those connections can help you gather information. Like finding out an information broker on the shady side of town who's said to know everybody. Apparently he also came from Mistral, which is very good news for Yang, even more for reason to think he knows what she's looking for. So while everyone else is relaxing, Yang is going to a club. Not to party, not this time. She knows by experience the bouncer would even ask for an ID since she, for better or worse, looks older than she is. And with easy entry, she now has to spot the guy. It's harder to do in a dark room with flashing lights and many people dancing and drinking. But she does finally spot him and goes up to the bar pretending to be just a regular customer, lower his guard. And the bait works, now to grab the chance. And something else just in case. It really pisses her off, being dismissed and treated like some silly little girl. She pulls up the only picture she has of Raven from deep inside one of the albums she found a while ago deep inside a drawer, forgotten but very valuable for her search. That once again comes out as a bust. How in the hell is it so hard to find her? But maybe she can get some more information out of this guy later. Better to calm down and let him go now. Yang gets into her sunshine persona for the lack of a better word. Joking around, let's kiss and make up, okay? Which he takes as an actual invitation? What a fucking creep! Okay, might as well teach him a lesson and let out her frustrations over failing again all at once with a nice brawl. Starting with a good smack in the face, right in the last moment. And this is exactly why she wears her weapons to clubs. The people at the club quickly started to realize this place is about to turn dangerous and ran as fast as they could to not get caught up in it. And Yenny relishes in letting her emotions out through kicking around some goons and some overdressed valley girls. Now she can return to Beacon with a light heart. Oh, oops. She did not expect RWBY to be here. Now that's awkward. And she's putting on that leader voice. They get to Beacon in an awkward silence. Well, awkward for Yen. She's not used to being bossed around by RWBY, that's for sure. RWBY is pouting the whole way, kinda like she did as a kid, warning her she's gonna tell Dad about her sneaking out during curfew. Except this time is worse. She's gonna tell Weiss. And they both know what she's gonna do to her. And Weiss does exactly that, as in chew her out to hell and back, yelling so loud that Blake has to go and reassure Juniper that they're fine, just a little argument. Okay, a big argument. Yang stands her ground that she did nothing wrong, they started it, she finished it. She was just looking for something. RWBY looks away annoyed, knowing full well she's still looking for Raven. For our hypothetical viewer who doesn't know yet who's Yang looking for, this will be a fun little mystery. What is that reaction from RWBY? Weiss is not buying it at all. She doesn't care if Yang goes to clubs or wherever, but if anyone catches wind of this delinquent activity, any of the teachers, this will screw over the whole team. And she's not about to be punished for some mindless, potentially law-breaking actions of someone focused more on partying than actually putting in effort into studying. Oh, don't act like you know me, princess. What makes you think I don't put in effort? I literally haven't seen you with a book once in this whole week we've been here. Even RWBY studies once in a while. Hey! Okay, Ice Queen, since you think you're so smart, how about a bet? Meaning, if I get ace in every class we have next week, you'll owe me a wish of my choice. And if I lose, obviously you'll also get a wish. Bet. Even though I sincerely doubt you'll last more than 2 days with a book in your hands and not associating with some ruffians. Blake raises an eyebrow from behind her novel. She doesn't want to assume, but considering she saw some of Yang's friend circle in passing and the number of phonism on it... Though what else did she expect from an Atlantean princess? A week goes by, and Yang didn't even attempt to make a show of studying to taunt Weiss. She still spent her time hanging out with friends after class and going out sometimes like she usually does. Absolutely the same routine as the week before. And with each day, Weiss's nose got closer to the ceiling, dismissing Blake's and more importantly Ruby's remarks about content chickens. The easiest win of her life, even easier than taking all of Whitley's breakfast crepes for months. So this stunning shock hit her like a Borbatask spleen attack, when, as you already guessed, Yang presented a bunch of papers, all with A's and signatures of each teacher. She specifically asked them to write down her scores, using an excuse that she wants to show them to her dad because he asked. She also got Ruby's too, to keep up with the story. And since a good portion of teachers know Thai, they did it without question. Bored even asking if they got in trouble or something, I'm used. Well, anyway, stun-locked Weiss could only stare up at Yang in silence. And Yang didn't even gloat, shrugging casually like it's no big deal. Ruby snorted. She knew this is how it would end. Everyone always underestimates Yang's power of multitasking and managing her time. And if needed, she can use her friend's circle to her advantage in studying too. She did befriend a bunch of people from higher grades. So how about that wish you owe me, princess? I really wanted to show that Yang isn't just dumb muscle, because she is smart. We just haven't had enough time to showcase that, with Beacon being only a background decoration between all the plot stuff. She's also fully aware of her actions, even if sometimes she needs to let out the burning emotions inside her, like with a good brawl. And Weiss at this point is still a spoiled "I'm leagues better than you" girl. So it would be good to humble her a little bit, so the switch up from hissy Weiss to the rest of the series Weiss isn't that sudden and drastic, but a slow progression. And who's better to break down her walls than social and extroverted Yang? We'll look at what Yang wished for after this quick catch-up with Velvet Speed Paint. She's coming up in the plot shortly, don't you worry. The fact that her outfit was a fan contest design always makes me like it more. Even though I don't understand what the hell her shoes are, it still works really well. The eyes I gave her were just a random decision during pencil sketches, but they're really fun to draw, with how different they are to all the eyes I usually draw. As for colors, the only thing I did was make her skin browner. It felt more matching with her overall color vibe, better than pasty white skin clashing with all the warm browns. She's so sweet, wish we got to see more of her and her personality. Thankfully, I do know some bits about her from the books, and can use those to build her up a bit more. Also, isn't it funny how initially she was in a class with our guys to illustrate Fauna's discrimination point, and then suddenly became a second year in Volume 2? Something tells me initially she was supposed to be a one-off, but people like her too much, and she got turned into an actual character. Always funny how things happen that way sometimes. I know several of my own characters in my comic had this happen to them too. It's not a bad thing at all. It's all in how the new additions can be organically implemented into the further story. We'll have several more of those Monty had a fun idea, so we just put it in later, and we'll also deal with them later. But Velvet is definitely one of the most beloved parts of that addition on the fly process, right next to Neo. Since Weiss lost, Yang gets to make her wish. Weiss is very nervous it's gonna be something humiliating. Well, Yang makes you go to a nightclub with her next time. Weiss is against it, since she's worried her family will find out or someone will recognize her. That kind of news could be very damaging to her reputation. Yang reassures her that it's a nightclub for a reason, nobody can see anything in the dark. And they're too busy having fun and to look around for any celebrity in the area. And well, she was wrong about Yang before, maybe she's wrong about this too. The music is way too loud, and the flashing lights are enough to give her a headache. And the people pushing each other around makes her very uncomfortable. But Yang grabs her hand and pulls her further in, expertly finding a good spot for them to stay at. And tells, well, yells, for Weiss to just dance. She's a singer, she should be able to feel the music. It's very awkward at first. Weiss too trained to always be perfect, awaiting judging remarks and demands to be better. But nobody can see her here, so she just keeps doing whatever feels right. It's not good dancing by any stretch of imagination, mostly just wiggling in place, but it feels fun and a bit freeing. She can't believe she actually enjoyed this. On the way back, she tells Yang that she gets her point now, but she would still rather do something productive. And she doesn't mind if they do this productive activity together, it would be good for the team. She wanted to do something to build up stamina, since right now she's only good at using her glyphs and weapon for battles. Yang raises an eyebrow. Really? Proud and perfect Weiss admitting a flaw? I'm aware of the parts I need to improve. Yang suggests jogging. She's doing it every morning, Weiss can join her. And of course, next morning she's laughing at Weiss coming in the most expensive looking brand name personalized work outfit she's seen. Better than she expected, honestly. Yang stretches, not paying any mind to Weiss flat out staring and shifting her noodle arm self-consciously. She intentionally runs much slower than she's used to, letting Weiss get used to it, pointing out how to properly breathe to not tire herself out too quickly. They do a few laps around the dorms building that morning, by the end of which Yang has to carry Weiss back up to their place like a sack of potatoes. Very spiteful potatoes that will keep training until she can do this on her own. Yang jokes that she will not be responsible if Weiss decides to run on her heels to prove a point and breaks her leg. They keep doing this now, and slowly Weiss gets a bit better, enough to not fall over after a few laps at least. As mentioned in... I don't remember which of their videos, doesn't matter. They tried to get Ruby and Blake into it too, but they pointedly said nah. Okay, but your semblance is good and all, but what if your aura is depleted? Yang, can I run? She can. It's like the only thing she was good at in gym class. Hey! During one of those times running, they, pardon the pun, run into Velvet. Weiss is fully intent on running alone, ignoring her, but Yang calls out to her cheerfully. Velvet comes over and they chat a bit, while Weiss is pretending to listen while getting a drink of water. She doesn't have anything against her in particular, but being around Faunus does put her on guard. She's way too used to danger coming at any moment, after seeing that what Faint did to her family. Side note, this can be done with slight flashes of memory. Maybe Jacques yelling and scroll with someone about another family member they can get a hold of. But of course, Yang offers Velvet join them, they can catch up while running. Weiss ignores the indirect jab, being able to run and talk while she would get winded immediately if she tried. She can't help but listen in on their conversation though, not like it interests her, but there's nothing else to do. And it's the usual boring banter. Yang thanking Velvet for some notes she shared from her last year, and well enjoying the book Blake gave her, and would like to find one to share in return, and thanking Yang for scaring off Karin some time ago. Weiss huffed to herself. That imbecile really has the gall to pick on older students too, and here she thought he was only a jerk to their year. Besides, she's pretty sure his antics would be considered a hate crime in Atlas, and would get him at the very least heavily fined if not jailed. Yang asked why doesn't Velvet just kick his ass, they both know she can. But Velvet doesn't want to bring attention to herself, or lean into dangerous Faunus stereotypes some people are spreading. Sure, she's a bunny, but you never know what some idiots might think, or what gross things they will come up with using her species. Weiss feels a bit guilty for going on guard now. She knows she shouldn't assume, but it's in her best interest to be better safe than sorry. Yang notices the shift in the air around Weiss, and slyly asks Velvet if they can join her more often, thinking it would be beneficial to Weiss's socialization with normal people. Velvet doesn't mind at all, and now they're joining her once in a while. Weiss still doesn't engage in conversation, but she is warming up to Velvet, finding out more about her through listening in on conversations with Yang. That also helps find more information. It is useful to find out more about second-year classes and the like. She makes a mental note to write down all the useful things she managed to overhear and do her research during the summer break. She's so lost in fantasizing about how great it would be to have the highest grades that she's caught off guard when Velvet suddenly mentions something about Atlesian paladins. How do you know that? That's privileged information! Is she associated with White Fang after all and let her slip on accident? She's a fool to let her guard down. How much do they know? How— Oh, I'm sorry. My dad is an Atlesian scientist, he's working on a project. Yang is surprised. Wow, a Faunus scientist in Atlas? Oh, no, he's human. My mom is a Faunus. Weiss lets out a relief sigh. Okay, that makes more sense, and she hopes she really was worried about nothing. While running, they see a pair of shoes on top of a lamppost, too high to reach. They assume it must be Cardin's doing. Seems like the petty bullshit he'd do. Yang wonders if they should get him down. I'm on it! Velvet keeps up the nearby tree and jumps until she's high enough to grab the shoes and easily lands down. There we go. Might need to put him somewhere where Cardin can find him again. That was an impressive jump. Velvet smiles. Thank you. And it goes on like this for a while. Yang also keeps making bets with Weiss to force her to open her worldview more. She refers to this as her de-Atlasification project, making Blake snort and suggest a few things to try too, like going with Ren and Nora to do volunteering work in local youth groups, or a benefit concert or something. One of the ideas Yang has is going with her and Ruby to try boba and street food, since she never had them before in Atlas, mostly forced to strict diets and fancy foods. She doesn't want to admit she likes it, but girls know and don't comment. Yang also wants to try something herself, and awkwardly asks Weiss to go with her, so she'll have a scapegoat, because it's embarrassing to admit it's her idea. Now Weiss is intrigued what got her so flustered, that's a new. She wants to learn at least a bit of sign language to make it easier being Blake's teammate. And if she asks Ruby, she won't be able to keep it to herself. And she's not sure Ruby would be a good teacher anyway. Why don't you just ask Blake? Would you give me vocal lessons since you're a trained singer? Point taken. Weiss knows that it would be beneficial to the team's overall performance if they learn this new way to better communicate, and agrees to go with her to classes in the free time. Blake is surprised when they try to use what they learned in practice, laughs at their silly mistakes, but appreciates it. She feels like it was Yang's idea, even if she won't admit it. Weiss doesn't seem like the type to suggest something like this. Ruby has an idea to use it in team exercises, like a secret code, especially in Professor Ant's class where they need to be sneaky, where using hand signs would help them a lot. So Blake starts teaching them how to sign directions and the like. Later, Weiss is writing a letter to Winter, filling her in on the progress at school and about her teammates. Mostly about her grades, of course. But she does let it slip that she's actually enjoying being here, even though she's not the leader and her teammates are not what she expected at all. It's weird, but a good kind of weird. So another thing I wanted to do with this mini-arc is establish a bond between Yang and Weiss. Because of shoestring reasons, we didn't get to see the transition from butting heads to planning an event together to being close enough to open up about childhood trauma. The bond is still believable, but since my bread and butter are character bonding moments, I'll go for exploring that at every opportunity. Which then leads to Weiss and her slow development. Again, shoestring reasons, but I was wondering why Coffee decided to choose specifically those two to take over preparations. Assuming they were the ones who suggested replacements, why would faculty choose them out of everyone and not older students? Yang, that's obvious, she knows her way about parties, but Weiss? There has to be some kind of an established bond. And it also would be nice to explore Weiss's mistrust toward fondness while at it, with soft approachable velvet being a good way to pull her out from stereotypes and assumptions she has about fondness as a whole. And plus they establishes a connection, and I dropped a little bit of something that I'm planning to do with Atlas and his world building later on. So look out for more little nuggets like that. I like casually dropping these little puzzle pieces through the characters, since it's just a normal thing they used to in their lives. Next time, holiday special, but not the nondescript winter one, with a tasty side dish of fleshing out character dynamics even more? What, is this the first time you're seeing me? Of course I will do it at every opportunity. So what did you think of these mostly original scenes? Do they still feel within the characters' personalities' development and bond at this point of the story? Can you see these kinds of things happening within the show if given time and budget needed? And how do you like my take on Velvet's design? And I'll see you on the other side.